Welcome to Math TV with Professor V. It is Friday, March 17th, 2023. Here's your integral of the day. Indefinite integral of the square root of x squared plus 36 over 9x squared dx. So, yes indeedy, it is trig sub time. Usually when you have like a quadratic expression, or even higher, underneath the radical, it's a good time to do some trig sub. And then I'm noticing, there's addition, which means it's time for tangent, okay? So we're going to let x equals 6 tan theta and hope for the best. So dx is going to be 6 secant squared theta d theta. And now let's rewrite our integral in terms of theta. So in the numerator, we're going to have square root x squared, that's 6 tan theta squared plus 36 over 9x squared, 6 tan theta squared. And then don't forget, dx is 6 secant squared theta d theta. Lovely. All right, so let's clean up further. So 6 tan theta squared, that's going to be 36 tan squared theta plus 36 over 9 times 36 tan squared theta times 6 secant squared theta d theta. And I'm not going to multiply the 9 and the 36 just yet because watch this. So we have integral here. Notice this radical expression. The whole point of the trig sub is to clean that guy up. So if I take out a 36, then I have tan squared theta plus 1, right? All underneath the radical. And tan squared theta plus 1, that's secant squared theta. So we have 36 secant squared theta, which technically for a hot second is absolute value of 6 secant theta. But remember, we restrict theta when we do trig sub so that we don't have to worry about the absolute value. Okay, so I'm just going to plop into the numerator 6 secant theta. And then I still have that 6 secant squared theta d theta over here, and then 9 times 36 tan squared theta. And then maybe now you're like, oh, I see why you didn't multiply the 9 and the 36, because the 36 cancels with these two 6's. So lovely. I do have a 9 left in the denominator, so what I like to do is just pull the constants outside. So we've got 1/9, and then now I have secant cubed theta over tan squared theta d theta. Okay, so now it gets tricky because let's see. If you were to try to do a u sub, because maybe you're inspired, right? Ooh, there's tangents and secants. Say you let u be tan theta, du would be secant squared theta, but then I have an extra secant in the numerator. Odd power, that's not good. I don't want to let u equal secant theta, because du would be secant theta tan theta, and all my tangents are in the bottom, so that's not working for me. So when you kind of hit a wall like this, maybe you try some of the u subs and they don't work out for you. I just try them in my head. I go, I'm not feeling good. Let me go back to what feels safe. Let's rewrite everything in terms of sines and cosines, and then see if we can manipulate more. You know what I mean? Okay, so secant cubed theta, that's 1 over cosine cubed theta. And then since I have tan squared theta in the bottom, that's cosine squared theta over sine squared theta, right? D theta. Is this going to help me? Well, I can cancel that cosine squared theta with 2 of the cosines there. So now we have 1/9, 1 over cosine theta times 1 over sine squared theta d theta. Things are still not looking good to do any sort of u sub or whatever because all my trig functions are in the denominator. Ugh. So let's rewrite what we have with the reciprocal trig functions. What do I mean? 1 over cosine theta, we're going to write that now as secant theta, and then 1 over sine squared theta is cosecant squared theta. All right, do I know anything to do with these guys? Not really. But at least I have cosecant squared theta. Maybe I can use a Pythagorean and play around. What do I mean? Well, we know sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. If I divide everything by sine squared theta, this is going to be 1 plus cotangent squared theta equals cosecant squared theta. So let me try to replace this with 1 plus cotangent squared theta and see if things start working out for me. 1 plus cotangent squared theta d theta secant theta 1/9. Well, the way it's written, I can't do much, but let me distribute the secant theta, and I feel like now we can kind of get the ball rolling. So we've got 1/9. Let me do it like this, and then integral secant theta d theta plus integral secant theta cotangent squared theta d theta. This is actually fabulous. I'm going to call this integral number 1 and integral number 2. Yeah. All right. Integral number 1, you should be able to do no problem. This should be one of the ones that you memorize. Antiderivative of secant theta, d theta, ln, absolute value. Secant theta plus tan theta plus, I'm going to say C1. What about integral number 2? Ooh, a little more spicy. Secant theta cotangent squared theta d theta. Now, when we look at, trig integrals and we try to do u sub and stuff like that, the combinations that we like to work with are sines and cosines, tangents and secants, or cosecants and cotangents. We don't like this mix right here, secant and cotangent. Like their derivatives don't relate. So when that happens, I go, time to go back to sines and cosines, just because it's more familiar and things may work out better. So secant theta is 1 over cosine theta, cotangent squared theta, cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. Does this help me? Yeah. This cosine theta cancels. And then integral cosine theta over sine squared theta d theta. Now we're in a beautiful position to do a u sub. Du has to be in the numerator, okay? You can't have a du in the denominator. So that means I want cosine theta d theta to be my du. So think backwards. If that's du, what would u have to be? U would be sine theta, not squared, just sine theta. Then du is cosine theta d theta. And now let's see what we got going on. So 1 over u squared du. Oh, that was so fabulous, right? And then I can rewrite this u to the negative second du. Antiderivative is going to be negative u to the negative first plus c2, which is negative sine theta to the negative first plus c2, which is negative cosecant theta plus c2. Okay, so we've got this result from the first integral, this result from the second, and then remember there's a 1/9 sitting outside. Okay, so let's put everything together. I like a little narrative. So we have 1/9 ln, absolute value, secant theta plus tan theta minus cosecant theta. I'm going to say plus C3, where C3 is 1/9 C1 plus C2. And then let's go back to x's. So what was our original substitution? Where did it go? Oh, x equals 6 tan theta. Always get the trig function by itself. So x over 6 is tan theta. And now it's triangle time. Whoop. There's theta. So if tangent of theta is x over 6, that's opposite over adjacent. then the hypotenuse is going to be rad x squared plus 36. Okay, let's use the triangle to rewrite everything in terms of x now. So 1/9 ln, absolute value. Secant theta will be hypotenuse over adjacent. So rad x squared plus 36 over 6 plus tan theta x over 6 minus cosecant theta is hypotenuse over opposite. So rad x squared plus 36 over x plus C3. And then you might think, oh, we're done. Everything's looking fabulous. No, we're not. So we have 1/9. This is ln, absolute value, watch out, square root x squared plus 36 plus x over 6, and then minus square root x squared plus 36 over x plus C3. And I've shown this little technique before. When you have logarithm of a quotient, we know that ln of a over b, we can rewrite as ln of a minus ln of b. Well, why is that relevant? Because now I can rewrite this logarithm here. I'll rewrite everything as I go. 1/9 ln, absolute value, rad x squared plus 36 plus x minus what? Yeah, ln of 6, and then minus rad x squared plus 36 over x plus C3. And then what happens a lot of the time, you'll notice, see, this ln of 6 is just a constant times 1/9. And it can just all get absorbed into this plus C3 that we have here. And so your final answer, you can write the most simplified, cleaned up version as just ln, well, the 1/9 in the front, and then absolute value, square root x squared plus 36 plus x minus rad x squared plus 36 over x plus c. And then we got to tell the people what c is, where c equals C3 minus ln of 6 over 9. And that would just be the 100% creme de la creme answer that an A+ student would do. My students are always paranoid. What if we forgot to do that? What if we stopped right here? You know what? I wouldn't be mad at you. I would still give full credit. But the superstars, the people who care, they take it that extra step. And a lot of the time too, when you check the back of the book or answer keys, they do use that logarithm property to clean up. So get in the habit. And if your teacher's stricter than me and they require you do it, then there you go. Just do it. I hope you enjoyed the integral of the day. This one was a doozy. I was saving it for a good, exciting moment. So hope you enjoyed. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I noticed about 80% of my views come from people who are not subscribed. So if you're watching and not subscribed, why? Please subscribe. It helps me, help support my channel, help it grow. You can also catch me on Instagram and TikTok at Math TV with Professor V, and check out the rest of my video lecture playlists. Also, if you just want access to exclusive content, you can sign up for my Patreon. Right now it's just $9.99 a month, and I take requests. All right, have a great one, you guys. Bye-bye.